Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Formula 4, this time at Autodromo Enzo with Dino Ferrari, otherwise known as Imola, on iRacing for another track guide. This is using the fixed Imola setup from iRacing. It is fairly late in the stint, had about 5 litres of fuel left when I did this. Any questions, let me know in the comments. As always, we're going to do a hot lap, a breakdown, and then back in the cockpit one final time with the driving line on. Right, let's go. Time for the hot lap. So smashing it down the right hand side. I'm going to cut the corner here of what is laughingly called turn 1. I'll look for the 50 meter board. It's actually just before then. All the way down to third. Back on the gas. Don't let off the gas there as we're going back up to fourth. Through turn 3. Again, this time it is the 50 meter board. A little dab on the brakes. Stay in fifth. Back on the gas, and then we drop it down to fourth, exiting nice and wide, keeping our right hand tyre on the track. Going just down to third gear here, building back up on the power. Again, you've got loads of room on exit there. Always make sure you're using the full track. We're going to leave it in fifth here through turn 8. Tiny dab on the brakes, back on the gas. Got loads of room out wide again, cut back across. We're just going to do a lift here through turn 9 and braking hard down to third gear. Again, you've got all that extra width. Into the 50 meter board here. We come all the way down to second gear, smoothly back on the accelerator on exit. Now, I leave it in fifth coming down this hill. You can go up to sixth, but I just found the extra downshift wasn't really worth it. Down to third, back on the gas, tiny dab of the brakes, and then again, smoothly back on. Don't exit any further wide than I did. I missed an off track there by about half an inch. Don't hit this wall, which I did when I was on a great lap earlier on. And then over and across the line in a 1:44.342. Right, we've got the breakdown lap coming up next. Okay, breakdown. So as I say, I'm running 58.2% brake bias. My brake bias is always in the description, and it's just after the 100 meter board that we're going to do our first bit of braking here. So we brake up to nearly 80%. Drop it down to fifth, drop it down to fourth. We're going to drop it down to third. We're trailing off now, and we're getting back on the gas ahead of the apex, so that as we're at the apex, we're back on 100%. And what we're going to do is just keep our foot in there, change it up to fourth gear, take some curbing, but don't hit those no-cut curb bollardy things. Cutting this corner on the left, again without hitting the no-cut curb bollards. Exit nice and wide, don't hit the grass. This time it's the 50 meter board. So 50 meter board on our right, and we're going to leave it in fifth. Going to brake briefly up to 50%, then immediate trail off, and then we're building back up. So again, ahead of the apex, we're already up to 100% in fifth gear. And then once we've straightened our wheel, we're going to brake again, this time up to nearly 60%. Yep, 60%. Drop it down to fourth, and then we're slower building up on the gas here. Again, cutting the curb without hitting the no-cut curb bollard. Back up to 100%. Exit wide, but keeping those right-hand tyres on the track. Back over to the right-hand side. And it's basically where the 25 meter board would be here. So it's after the 50 meter board. You're braking up to about 85%. You're going to trail it off, drop it down to third. It's a long trail off, as you can see. And then I'm building back up. So I'm on about half throttle here until I'm through the apex. And that's when I can then go up to 100%. You can exit nice and wide here. It's nice and smooth, loads of grip. Up to fifth. And basically it's where the 25 board would be again here. Just going to do a light dab on the brakes, only up to about 40%. I'm going to trail that off, and then as soon as we're trailed off, we're going to start building back up in fifth. I didn't like hitting this inside curb here. I found it a bit slippy. We've got loads of room out wide anyway on exit, so we don't need to go as tight. We're back up at 100% on apex. You can exit nice and wide. As long as you're keeping your left-hand tyres on the track, you're fine. Back over to the left-hand side. Again, we're going to start our turn in at where would be the 25-meter board here. And we're just going to do a lift, and then we'll build back up. And then basically, as soon as we're mid-track again after the apex, we're going to brake quite hard up to about 70%, drop it down to 4th, trail off the brakes, drop it down to 3rd. We're going to take some curb on entry here at the apex. Again, don't hit the no-cut curbing. Back up to 100%, exit nice and wide, right-hand tyres on the track, you're absolutely golden. Just after the 50-meter board. Oh, it's actually just before. Wow, shows how your brain works. So at the 50-meter board, we're going to brake here up to nearly 90%, drop it down to 4th, drop it down to 3rd. We're going to trail it off down to 2nd gear. I give a quick blip of gas there, and then I'm back on the brakes, only up to about 15%, and then trail off just to make sure I can get through the second apex of the chicane, and then build back up to 100%. You can exit wide again, as long as you're keeping your left-hand tyres. It's actually on the rumble strips fine here. Almost there, guys. Just a couple more corners. So, as I say, I leave it in 5th. We're going to start braking at just after the 100-meter board, as you can see here. So the 100-meter board's on the right now. So we start braking just after that, and we brake the hardest that we actually brake in the entire track. So almost up to 100%, drop it down to 4th, drop it down to 3rd, trail it off down to the apex, start building back up on the apex. Once I've straightened my wheel, I'm back up to 100%. Exit nice and wide here. Now you have to keep your left-hand tyres again on the curbing here, otherwise you're going to have an off track. And then we're just going to dab the brakes very lightly, only up to like 30%, leave it in 3rd gear, and then we're building back up. We're going to cut the curb as much as we can here, and then back up to 100%. And again, we've got to keep our left-hand tyres on the curbing. Any further out to the right, and that would be an off track. And that's it. That is the breakdown lap. We have one final version coming up next. It has the driving line on. I'm not speaking. You can enjoy it without my voice. Cross the line. Right, that's coming up now.